welcome, my friends. It has been a while. Well, okay, actually, technically, I uploaded a video a week ago, but before that, it's been a couple months. And if you missed the most recent video and the bunch of posts I've done on other social medias, I was gone because I'm pregnant again, which is very exciting, obviously. And I have been dealing with all of the really great symptoms of the first trimester. And so I did not have any energy or want or anything to film any kind of videos, so I didn't. And here we are. I'm feeling much better. I am now in my second trimester, and to kind of bridge the gap between not filming anything or posting anything, uploading my announcement video, and then transitioning back into, you know, my usual content, I thought I'd film a little Q&A for anybody who had any questions that I could give some answers to about pregnancy related things, because it is my entire life right now. Building a human from scratch is no small feat. I'm exhausted all the time, and you know, I feel like my body's changing every day and I have new symptoms every week. It's a journey. It's quite the journey. So I have a bunch of questions and I thought I would answer as many as I could. I have some questions from Instagram, and I also posted a community tab calling for questions, so I will pull some from both of those areas. I'm already running out of breath. Goodness gracious sakes. Okay, so we're gonna start out on Instagram. Let's see. Annie Thomas asked, I knew both of my children's genders right away. Do you have a feeling that they'll be a boy or a girl? So I actually already know. I know what we're having. We did the genetic testing, which can also tell you if you're having a boy or a girl at like 13 weeks. I am now about 14 and a half weeks, and we know what we're having. We are not doing a reveal until the end of April, so we'll do a reveal with immediate friends and family, and then I'll post everywhere what we're having. So I don't want to spoil the fact that I know, but I did have a feeling. Both my husband and I had guesses. We both kind of flip-flopped back and forth, but each of us had the opposite guess, if that makes sense. And obviously one of us was right. So yes, I did have a feeling. I'm not gonna say if I was wrong or right, but I will later at some point. I'll let you know if I was right or wrong. Next, I think that's Catty Candy. That's cute. Asked two questions. The first one was, can we look forward to a pregnancy stitch fix? Yes, actually, I have one on the way to me right now. I did get stitch fix, I think twice while I wasn't filming, and I did just update my specifications on Stitch Fix to include maternity wear. I have one on its way to me right now, and I will film with that when I get it. And it does include some maternity items and some non-maternity items. So I'm pretty excited about that, because I could definitely use some maternity bottoms, because already getting that belly. And her second question was, does your diabetes affect the pregnancy in any way? If you feel comfortable sharing. Yes, a lot. I have to go see a maternal fetal medicine practitioner, doctor, physician throughout the entirety of my pregnancy, and they, especially I think in the later second trimester and the third trimester, they are going to closely monitor the baby's growth, because diabetics can tend to have larger babies, and it's not guaranteed. A lot of it comes down to genetics, but there is a risk with sometimes even fine diabetes control. A lot of times with very poor diabetes control. I have pretty good diabetes control, but with all of the fluctuating hormones and just, you never know what your body's gonna do, and especially while pregnant, sometimes, sorry if you can hear my cat chomping on dry kibble over here. But yes, I'm trying really hard to be a lot more careful. It was a little bit more challenging in the beginning because I was so nauseous that I really was just, and even now a little bit, I just am eating whatever I think I can get down, like whatever sounds good and appealing, that's what I need to eat. But I do have to be even more conscious and aware of my blood sugars and my diabetes in general. And then down the road, I need to be even extra careful, because poor diabetes management can lead to larger babies, which lead to a more complicated pregnancy and a more complicated birth. Let's see. My friend Kylie, she said, it's a boy, isn't it? No spoilers, no spoilers. You will find out April 25th, I think. My husband commented, how awful has your husband been? My husband has been just fine. Thank you so much, Alex. He hasn't been off at all. He's actually been very helpful because I was so unhelpful during the first trimester that he picked up a lot of slack around the house. So huge kudos to him. Ursula Hansen asked, congratulations, how has your skin changed now that you are pregnant? So during the first trimester, my skin was actually really good. That could have been because I wasn't wearing hardly any makeup at all for a good month and a half. And that might have been part of it. I have noticed entering into the second trimester, now that my hormones are dying down a little bit, that I am getting a lot more small breakouts in my forehead area and just kind of periodically throughout my face. I've had a lot of little breakouts, but definitely nothing too bad, and I've kind of gotten a lot of it a lot more under wraps. It just kind of was like a breakout, and now they're starting to diminish. So not too many crazy changes, which I'm grateful for, and I'm hoping that it stays that way because I've heard that your skin can go absolutely nuts during pregnancy. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. My youngest brother asked, is it a boy or a girl? And then a follow-up, if it's a boy, it's going to be Zachary Jr., right? No Zachary. We haven't chosen any names of people that we know personally. I feel like that would be kind of weird. Makeup is my therapy asked, did you get the COVID vaccine? If not, are you going to? She said you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I am perfectly fine answering this. I am gonna get the COVID vaccine. I wanted to wait, first of all, to talk to my doctor, and then second of all, if I was gonna get it, I wanted to wait until the second trimester. In general, I feel like this might be a bit of a tricky topic, but I'm definitely getting it. I knew I wanted it eventually. I was a little concerned, you know, I'm pregnant and there's not been a ton of long-term studies because it hasn't been around for that long and for pregnant people, but there has been evidence that pregnant women have gotten the vaccine, given birth, and the babies have had antibodies to COVID, which is great, I think. If I want to have a chance at any kind of baby shower later this year or anything like that, I want to be protected and I want to protect myself and the people around me. And if I were to get COVID, there's a lot of dangerous potentials in getting COVID and being pregnant. So I have made the choice to get the COVID vaccine, and my husband and Alex and I are all going the same day to get it. My doctor said yes, you know, well, she didn't pressure at all. She gave kind of all the facts that I already knew, and she ended it with, she said if I was pregnant, I would get it. But it's a very personal choice. You get to make that decision. So yes, I am getting it, but I know that I have a friend who's pregnant who's not gonna get it. So no judgment for any pregnant mamas out there. You know, you should do what you feel comfortable with. And I think the last question on here, Mel J. Stephan asked, any advice for dealing with the dreaded, when are you having kids question without being too rude? I'm trying to remember how often Alex and I were asked that question, and I really don't remember. Once I was public about the miscarriage, there was no questions. And I feel like the more people talk about the struggles with infertility, the struggles with miscarriage, the struggles with just pregnancy in general, the less common those questions are asked. And also, you know, a lot of people don't want kids nowadays, which is perfectly also valid and fine. But how do you deal with it? Ugh. We always said, if I'm remembering right, you know, when we feel ready, you know, we're having kids when we feel ready. Period. None of your business. Because it really isn't anybody's business but you and your partners. I feel like when we're ready is a pretty point blank answer. Anybody else who has advice for that question, please leave it down below. But off the top of my head, that was one thing that we said pretty consistently was, we're gonna have kids when we're ready. Ooh, okay, Cassandra Lee asked over on YouTube, have you thought about your channel making the switch from beauty content only to more of a lifestyle and beauty content channel now with the beautiful baby? I just noticed that happens a lot, a change she personally enjoys. And I feel like yes and no. I'll never completely go away from makeup because I enjoy it so much, and I've already kind of dabbled in more lifestyle things. Like I do the Stitch Fix unboxings, I've done a handful of vloggy style videos, but maybe we're planning on doing some painting, some carpet changing around the house. So maybe I could do some fun things with setting up the nursery, and I don't know, what kind of content would you be interested in? Because I definitely feel like I could see myself branching out more from just beauty related content, especially now that I'm gonna have this huge other focus in my life. Primary focus, really, the baby will be my primary focus. So I would love to know what other content you might be interested in. But yes, I could see myself kind of adjusting a little bit. Still definitely doing makeup because I love makeup hauls. I love talking about makeup. I do enjoy the occasional project pan still. Which reminds me, I need to update those. Moving on. Ray asked, she asked, are you guys going to have a room for the baby or have the baby in your room? Both are great. So we are probably, well, we're gonna have a nursery. We're gonna split the beauty room. So primarily that'll be the new nursery, and then I'll shove my vanity more to one of the corners. So that will be there for them eventually. And I mean, we'll still probably use it, but we are gonna put a, I don't actually know what it's called. Not a crib, a bassinet, maybe is what it's called, next to the bed, so that they're in our room for however long we feel comfortable, maybe the first 3 months or something like that. But that will be next to our bed for however long. And then we are gonna set up a nursery. So eventually they will have a place to stay in there. Christina asked, how far along? Well, congratulations, how far along are you? And I am now, as of today, which is April 5th, 14 and a half-ish weeks along. My rollover dates, my week finishing dates are Saturdays. I was measuring a little bit earlier than that, so Thursdays is kind of when I hit a new week, but I kind of still use just my Saturday dates, so about 14 and a half-ish weeks as of right now. Our Sofa 97 asked, any cravings lately? So not really. It's more just kind of like, ooh, what sounds good? And I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. I want to eat that. I was craving a lot of salty food in the beginning, a lot of fast food, which I'm not anymore so much, but this is embarrassing. Do I want to say this? Yeah, okay. One night when I was home alone, I was feeling real bad that day. I was really hungry, but also nauseous. And I just was like, the only thing I want right now is a bean burrito from Taco Bell. And I did not want to get up and drive myself to Taco Bell. I hadn't left the house in days. I did not want to drive all the way to Taco Bell. So I DoorDashed 2 bean burritos from Taco Bell. And I had no regrets. Ooh, Lynn Bell asked, do you plan on finding out the baby's gender before birth or leave it as a surprise for the big day? I'm hoping for a great second and third trimester. So like I said already, we do know what we're having, which is very exciting. I have one of my best friends who's also pregnant. She's due in July. They're not finding out. I will say, now that I know what I'm having, I really want to know what they're having, but they don't even know what they're having. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun that we both will have a baby about 3 months apart. So they will be little toddlers together, which will be really great. Oh, Annie Thomas is also pregnant, due in October. How exciting. She asked, do you have any plans or hopes for labor? I do, yeah. Type 1 diabetics, or maybe all diabetics, I'm not really sure, are more prone to having C-sections because of the whole bigger baby thing. I would really love to try for a vaginal birth. That's what I would like. I would really like to try for that. I don't really care about having a epidural. I don't mind either way. If I can choose not to experience one of the worst pains in my entire life, then I would like to do that. I would like not to do that. I would like to not experience the pain. We'll see how bad it was. Ooh, is this TMI? This is real life. Okay. I have experienced contractions during my miscarriage and I barely felt them at all. So maybe that's a good sign. A little glimmer of a silver lining, I suppose. Maybe I'll be a little more okay, but they will not let me go past my due date. My due date, I don't know if I said that yet, is October 2nd. They won't let me go past my due date, so I might have to be induced earlier, and that might mean that my contractions are worse, so we'll see. I'd really like to give birth October 1st or October 2nd. The same friend who's due in July, it's her birthday on October 3rd, so I kind of want to try and avoid that. I mean, I don't know how much you can plan this. I really want to be able to hold them to my chest after giving birth. That is pretty important to me. I did watch Raw Beauty Christie's video, bald. Oh my God. I haven't talked too much about it with my doctor or thought too much about it. I tried not to think too much about it until I started feeling a little better and more optimistic and excited, which I know there's a question coming up that I'll get into what all that means. I'm not opposed to one type of birth or another. I know that I might have to have a C-section, and my best friend had 3 of them, so I have someone to lean on for advice, and she's got a lot of experience with that. So I'm grateful to have someone who I can turn to who's had experience with C-sections. Texas Beauty Junkie 84 has a baby due in September. Congratulations. Oh my gosh, so many babies. So many babies on YouTube too. Oh, okay, another person, Veronica, asked, does diabetes complicate pregnancy? Yes. Oh, so she specifically called out miscarriages. So poor blood sugar control can cause an early miscarriage. I don't think that's what happened to me. I had pretty good blood sugar control last time. Okay, and this is actually the last question. Is this going to be a rainbow baby? And if so, how many miscarriages did you have? Oh, wait, I remember a different question. Maybe it was on my actual video. Oh, that's what it was. It was in a direct message. That's what it was. Okay, so a similar question to the one I just mentioned. So Shannon Hill asked, is this going to be a rainbow baby? And if so, how many miscarriages did you have? And then in a direct message, Holly asked, did you feel like you couldn't celebrate your pregnancy in the early days because of your previous miscarriage? Like you had to guard yourself a little bit. So I did have one miscarriage back in August of last year at 9 weeks. Kind of late, you know, I was definitely in that period where the chance of a miscarriage was dropping significantly. I wasn't quite into the 2nd trimester yet. I had another friend at that same time, pretty close to mine, a couple months earlier, who had also experienced a miscarriage. And because of hers, when I got pregnant a little while, like maybe a month or 2 after her miscarriage, I immediately was on guard because it was so fresh in my mind. When I found out I was pregnant for the first time, of course I was so excited and I was elated, but I don't know if I just felt like or knew somehow in some innate part of my brain that that baby was never gonna make it earthside. I didn't want to talk about it too much. I didn't want to tell anybody until into the 2nd trimester. I did tell a couple people, my grandma, my mom. I remember telling my mom, do not buy anything. Do not buy anything. I don't want anything around that would remind me in case something happens. So Alex and I didn't buy anything. I told my mom, don't buy anything. When I miscarried, it was the worst experience of my life, I would say. It felt, I don't even know how to fully explain it, but that happened. And then I gave my body a good amount of time to recover and, you know, kind of go back to normal, get regular again. And then we started trying again for a few months. And then I got pregnant again. After going through a loss, you're almost preparing for another loss. And we made the decision early on to not keep it a secret, to celebrate the pregnancy while we had a pregnancy to celebrate, because, you know, there was a life and there was something to celebrate. So even if something went wrong, because we didn't get to celebrate much the first time around, and although I think that helped aid my emotional recovery the first time around, because I forced myself in some ways not to be so attached, we didn't do that as much this time. So we told our immediate family right away and our immediate friends right away. Actually, the first person to find out was my best friend. They all knew that we were testing that weekend, and so my friend was texting me, and I knew that if I didn't go tell her, then she was gonna know something was up, and I didn't want to lie. So that was really exciting. And then within the week, we told both my parents and step-parents and Alex's parents and the rest of our friends. We did that, but I stayed pretty guarded up until really 13 weeks, so not that long ago. So we had a viability appointment, I think it's 6 weeks. So I found out almost exactly at 4 weeks. Called my doctor. They got me scheduled for my first prenatal appointment, which was like at 8 or 9 weeks. And I asked them on the phone, I was like, hey, I experienced a loss last August. and I never made it to my first prenatal appointment. Is there anything I can do or you guys can do to just help ease my mind? And they said, oh, absolutely. If you'd like to come in for a viability appointment, then we can get you scheduled, and your partner can come for that. They can also come for the first prenatal appointment. And I said, great. So they scheduled that for 6 weeks. And we went in and we did a transvaginal ultrasound, and they found the little blip. And we actually nicknamed our little blip Peb. So you might hear me refer to them as Peb. They saw Peb. They said, everything looks good. There's no blood around the uterus. I said, okay, great. And then we went in again for the 8-week ultrasound, and we saw a little bit bigger of a Peb. And it's like, okay, great, everything's looking good. You know, I made it further this time than I did last time. So definitely around week 9, I had a lot of anxiety because that's when I lost last time. We made it through, but I still felt like this could end at any time. And every day I woke up grateful that I was still pregnant, and even now still. So then I think it was like 13 weeks, I had 2 appointments that week. I had one with my regular OB and then one with the maternal fetal medicine people. And at the maternal fetal medicine place, they did another ultrasound, and they spent a lot of time with me. And I remember when they did just an over the stomach one, but it was so in depth. And I remember seeing Peb on the screen for the first time, and it looked like a little human, and I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, because you can't really see much, you know, at 13 weeks. I'm definitely bloated. I've been bloated for, feels like forever. I'm just now starting to kind of show. It's mostly just my organs and fatty tissue pushed up and forward, but I've definitely got a little bump. But before, like, I felt pregnant all the time because I felt horrible. Seeing them on the screen, and they were moving so much, and they were just wiggling around and doing so many turns and twists and moves and punching and kicking around in my uterus. And I remember right when she put it on and was moving it around and I was watching them move in my womb, I busted out laughing because I was just like, oh my God. And I had to stop, you know, because you can't laugh while they've got that thing on your stomach or else it doesn't work. That was a really great moment. I felt so good after that, which was scary because I felt so attached to the baby now. And I also got my genetic testing done that day. I think it was a Wednesday. That next Monday, we got the genetic testing in and everything looked good. I went and picked up the little sheet that told us what we were having, and Alex came home that day and we opened it up. Now that we're using pronouns, and oh, I also bought an at-home Doppler so we can check for Peb's heartbeat anytime and every time. One of my biggest fears is because there's these huge gaps that you go between appointments. I've heard so many horror stories. I mean, Jessie Smiles recently, 2 friends of mine, well, not friends, but like school acquaintances that I've heard through the grapevine this has happened to, where you just go in for a routine appointment and then you find that you've lost the baby. So if I'm ever feeling a little concerned or like psyching myself out, then I can just go in with my little at-home Doppler and find the heartbeat. And that just, it's a lot of reassurance for me. You don't use them for anything else. It's just, again, reassurance that, okay, there's a heartbeat there. I can just feel better and not have to stress about it. So at about 13 weeks is when I started feeling really excited. And that weekend, well, actually really just last weekend, like 4 days ago, we finally went and bought stuff. Because I didn't want to buy anything because I kept thinking that if something happens and we lose this baby, I don't want anything around me that's going to remind me of that loss. I don't know if that answered your question. I feel like, yeah, I was pretty guarded. I was guarded with the first one. I was very guarded with this one. I'm feeling a lot more optimistic now that we're in 2nd trimester, now that everything has come back good. There's absolutely no concerns that anybody has raised at all, that I have raised. I've had lots of symptoms. And again, I had lots of symptoms last time. My entire life is just being a vessel right now. For the last 3 months, I've been surviving. I'm finally transitioning back into, okay, what do I enjoy in life, and trying to do that. I want nothing more than to be pregnant. And I am, and I want nothing more than to have this child and build a healthy, beautiful baby. But let me tell you, it is absolutely not sunshine and roses. I am not having a great time over here. I'm hoping now that I'm in the 2nd trimester, once I've got a belly and I can feel them in there, I'm hoping then I'll enjoy pregnancy more, because right now I feel like I was a bit bamboozled, a bit fooled. I mean, you get this wonderful outcome, but I am a stranger in my own body right now. Again, I'm just surviving over here. I'm so grateful, don't get me wrong. I'm so happy to be pregnant and excited about the future. But I think both of those things can be true at the same time. I can be so happy and thrilled and excited about being pregnant and having a baby. And also, my body sucks right now. And I'm just not having a great time. I'm being thankful, but like, I'm struggling, you know? And I think it's okay to have both of those coexist. Thanks so much for watching. If you're still here, regular content should be resumed shortly. I have some project pans that probably need updating. I have a Stitch Fix unboxing coming soon. I have a haul video that I need to do of stuff that I bought months ago. And then Sephora VIB sale is like almost here, and I will be placing an order. Back on my grind. Very exciting. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, I guess like the video, and if you have any comments, leave them down below. All right, I will see you in the next one.